everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Indie Music Podcast by alexrainbirdMusic.
We're back with episode 4, how exciting. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Once again, we're also filming this on video for Patreon, so if you support us at patreon.com/alexrainbirdmusic, you can watch us all on video.
We're very excited today to welcome our first duo to the podcast. We've been friends with them for years now, and they're two of the nicest people we've ever met. Please welcome Drake and Lucy Jane from the band Drakeford.
Yay.
Hello.
Howdy do.
How you guys
How
doing?
you guys doing?
Oh man,
We're doing good.
We're hanging in there.
Yeah. How are you guys?
Yeah,
We're
good.
doing well, thank you. Yeah, it's nice and warm in the UK right now, so we're pretty hot, but we're
Sweating.
Yeah, for everyone listening, guys, do you want to give people a brief overview of who you are and where you're based, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we are Drakeford. My name's Lucy Jane. This is Drakeford, which is actually his middle name, which a lot of people don't know that.
But I've gone by Drake or Drakeford my whole life, so
Yeah.
it feels like my first name, even though it's not.
Yeah, you can probably tell by my accent that I am from England. So that's where I'm from.
Big up the UK.
I know. Love it. I miss it.
And I'm from South Carolina on the eastern coast of America.
Yeah, but we live in Nashville, Tennessee now. So Music City. Everyone's doing music.
Here,
Oh yeah, if
Nashville.
you're on
Yeah.
seeing the
If you
video.
can't see, if you're not watching the video, Drake's got a Nashville representative t-shirt.
Oh, and the hat too. Can't
Yeah,
forget
man.
the
Oh,
hat.
wow. He's going all
fully
out.
in on the Nashville today.
Yeah. So that's us. I mean, briefly.
Yeah, we play all kinds of music, but probably most of the time it's considered folk pop music.
Yeah, Drake definitely leans into the more his style is very Americana, folky, singer-songwriter kind of stuff. And I love a bit more on the pop side. Like I love, pop music and all that. So we kind of blend our styles a little bit, which is fun. So
I'm going to take it right back to the beginning.
okay.
How did you both get into music? And I guess I was going to ask, who are your biggest musical inspirations that made you start music in the first place?
Ooh, that's
Gosh.
a great question.
That is a great question. You want to start?
Yeah, oh man, how do you even begin to... I started playing music when I was 13 or 14. I lived on the same street as this Southern Baptist youth pastor guy. And he was really cool and young and had flippy hair, and he invited me to his church. And I was like, cool. I didn't grow up in a strong Christian family or anything, but there were really cool people hanging out there. So I went to hang out and kind of found a family community of people. And in hanging out there, guitars get passed around, or they did back then, pre-pandemic.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And I really fell in love with music by hanging out with that crowd. And yeah, it just kind of consumed me. And so I started playing then. But before that, I had fallen in love with poetry. And then when I learned guitar and piano, I kind of discovered that poetry and lyric writing are basically the same thing. They both have pentameter and flow and rhythm. And so I just kind of put the two together and decided, no, I'm a songwriter now. So started playing at coffee shops and my high school events and all that stuff. And it was probably really terrible, but I was the kid chasing around people with my guitar singing Wonderwall and stuff like that,
Making people listen to you.
Yeah. Hey, you want to hear my new song?
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it. What about you?
I have always loved music. I mean, my family are quite creative, and my mom especially is very creative and has loved music and playing piano, and she's a dancer as well. And so I kind of grew up just loving anything creative. But I feel like I probably really started singing when I was a teenager. I was that kid that would come home from school and I had one of those karaoke machines, and I would just
I had one of them.
Yes, I would go up to my room and I would just sing my heart out for hours in this karaoke machine, and that was just my thing. But I actually when I finished high school, I joined a girl band. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was in a girl band
I was in a girl band
for about 4 years. in England. So
wait, it wasn't like Pussycat Dolls or anything big, was it?
No.
The Sugar
Not
Babes.
quite like that.
Sugar Babes.
No. Oh, I loved Sugar Babes though, man. The Saturdays, all that.
Classic.
No, so I actually did that for about 4 years, and then when Drake and I met, we both discovered that we loved to sing, and even before we were dating, we started to sing songs together and realized, our voices blend quite well, and just started then, really. Even before we were dating, we started singing together. So,
which was very awkward because we had so many people come up to us when we were just friends.
Just friends, hadn't talked about feelings yet, but liked each other.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, you guys make such a great couple. Your voices go together. And we hadn't talked about it, so it was like awkward.
Yeah. Awkward.
I mean, I like her, but...
Everyone said that our voices blended really beautifully, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, this is awkward. Don't look at him. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. We got there eventually.
We did. We married now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You guys got very lucky that you met each other, and, imagine if you met and one of you just was a dreadful singer.
I know. That would be bad, wouldn't it? Like, oh, well, guess you'll be a solo artist.
Yeah.
Oh, and influences. So musical influences. What about you?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to give you one person you probably do know and one person you might not know. There is a guy called Jason Mraz, super famous songwriter.
Love him.
He's great.
All of his early stuff, like early 2000s, even up until like I'm Yours and I Won't Give Up, those songs.
Curbside Prophet.
Yeah. Those were huge influences. James Taylor, but then there's a band called Need to Breathe, which is sort of like a southern rock band from my home state of South Carolina.
So yeah.
But they're fantastic.
They are great. Have you guys heard of them?
I think Alex has.
I think I've come across them at some point. Yeah.
Oh, you should check them out. They're
I
fantastic.
love them.
Yeah, they're in Nashville.
We'll have to check them out later.
Yeah, that's tonight. Yeah.
What about you?
Great. Me? Oh gosh. I mean, influences all of those definitely I love. Like Jason Mraz. I feel like he's a really good mixture between the folk and the pop, which is kind of what we love. And so got those pop melodies and I love that as well. So definitely Jason Mraz. I am a huge Taylor Swift fan. I love Taylor Swift, especially her new ones, Folklore and Evermore. Oh my gosh,
They're great.
So good. Absolutely love her, and she just seems like such a good, like, she's just down to earth, and like she's a great businesswoman. She knows what she's doing. So I really like her as well. There's probably loads of other people.
Spice Girls.
Oh, and oh gosh, growing up, Spice Girls all the way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you saw them, didn't you?
I did.
Didn't you see them a few years ago?
Yeah, in I think
Beth knows it.
Yes, that was 2019 actually, when they were at Wembley. I went with my sister.
I think that might have been the trip that we saw you.
Was it? Oh yeah, then
it
must have been 2019 that we saw you.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was like the best concert I've ever been to. I mean, I was a huge Spice Girls fan growing up and never got to see them live. Mm-hmm. And so Drake surprised me with tickets at Christmas in 2018, which was so sweet. And I went to see them at Wembley with my sister, and it was just, I remembered every single lyric. It was amazing.
You're probably dancing in
I was dancing away.
Yeah. What a great venue as well. Probably the best place to see them.
Oh my gosh.
Is Wembley, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never been there either for a concert, so that was really special. Yeah, it was good.
Here's a fun fact. Did you guys know that I used to live like a quarter mile away from Wembley?
Did you?
Across the M25. So I wake up every morning and go sit on my front step, and there's just a big arch across the street.
You can just see it.
No way, that is so cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea that you actually lived in the UK, but that kind of takes us into our next section.
Yeah, so as Drake and Lucy already said, Lucy's from the UK and Drake's from the US, so I'm sure you get this one quite a lot. But how did you guys meet, and what made you start Drakeford?
Great question.
That's a great question.
And just like most international couples, we went to the luxurious land of Kyrgyzstan. And we met in the Central Asia region of Tokmok.
Yeah, that is true.
Wow.
Kind of random and crazy. I tell most people, like, oh yeah, we met in Kyrgyzstan. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, tiniest country. Yeah. I was still living in England at the time. Drake was actually living in Turkey, part of like a street performing team. It was a team that would like, it was like a variety performance. We had dancers and musicians and illusionists, and they would like travel around and do street performing. And
That's so cool.
And they did tours all around kind of Central Asia as well. And so they went on this tour to Kyrgyzstan, and I flew from England to Kyrgyzstan to join them as a dancer, because I'm also a dancer. And that's where we met. So we pretty much liked each other immediately, didn't we?
No, I mean, I liked you
always good.
immediately.
Yeah.
But we couldn't talk about it. But, you know, and then I went back to England, and
I went back to Turkey.
we thought that was it. And then a year later, I ended up moving to Turkey and joined the same team as him. And so we were on the same team, living over there for a couple of years. And then we started dating about a year after I moved to Turkey. So that's kind of the very short version of it. So it's a much longer story, but that's the short version. So yeah, it's really cool, like fun story, and it's really different and
international
love.
type thing.
Yeah.
Love. Yeah.
we both
International
love we love traveling, we love exploring new cultures, and that's just one of our passions. And so it's really cool that that's how our relationship started. So,
Yeah.
Well, in the year after we met, so we met in Kyrgyzstan in October
2011. Yeah, so 10 years ago.
2011. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the next, like 2 or 3 months later, like I mentioned, I lived in London for a little while on my way to Turkey, and I had a lot of friends, and like I called them my family in London. And so I told my team in Turkey, I was like, hey, you know, since my family's in the States, I'm going to go back to England for Christmas to spend, you know, with my team and my family. But it was actually secretly just to go and see Lucy Jane.
Oh.
So we hung out for, it was just a day, wasn't it?
It was the longest, most wonderful day of my life. It was wonderful.
It was a good day. Yeah.
I'm crying a minute.
Because I was living in Manchester at the time. And so I got the train down to London, and we had a whole day out in London exploring and went to different places. And that was a really good day. That was kind of our first unofficial date, I would say.
England does a lot of things right, but Christmas is one of the best things that England does.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas in the UK
Especially
is magic.
London.
Yeah.
London's amazing.
London
The
at
German
Christmas,
markets. And
Obviously, as we've mentioned, you guys now live in Nashville.
Yep.
So could you just talk about when you moved to America, and especially for you, Lucy, like we've spoken to you a lot about how we'd love to move over to America. It's like our dream place to live. But I always wondered how it feels to originally be from the UK and then you go over to America. How was it to adjust to that kind of lifestyle? Because it's very different to how the UK works.
It is very different. That's a great question. I love being in America. I love Tennessee, especially. It's a really great place, and the people are lovely and just really genuine and friendly. Obviously, music is great. You know, being in Tennessee, in Nashville is great. But honestly, I've struggled with homesickness quite a lot. Being over here, I'm very grateful that we get to go back to the UK normally about once a year. When COVID isn't a thing, we get to go back about once a year in the summer, and I love that, getting to go home. But I definitely do struggle. I think that's one of my biggest things being over here. You know, my family are in England. I've still got my best friend is in England still. The culture, I just feel like so much more at home there. Obviously growing up, you know, in that culture. I miss the food. I miss going to Costa. You know, it's just different things like that. You know, and just, oh gosh, there's so many things I miss about it in the countryside, and it's just beautiful. So I struggle with homesickness. But I think anyone that moves to a different country is going to struggle with that, you know, on and off. So it's kind of like this tension, like being torn, because you love being here and we've got great community here, and you know our job is here, and then also feeling torn of that's my home and it always will be. So yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely, you don't want to do it lightly, you don't want to make a move lightly, but you know, depending on the community you've got or the job you're going to be doing, it's worth it for sure. It's just hard
so I can't just move over for Bath and Body Works.
I mean, you could.
You could.
Beth would do that.
I mean, I'm gonna try my best to convince you to move over here because I need more Brits in my life. But that would be amazing to have you guys here.
Yeah, and Nashville would be a great place for y'all.
It would.
Yeah.
There are a lot of indie artists here, so you guys should.
It's honestly, it is at the top of our list. Honestly, Nashville's.
And since the pandemic as well, we've realised there's
Yeah.
so many people. Like you could have like a compilation and half of them are from Nashville.
Yeah, I feel like what it
yeah.
is. Because
Totally.
people obviously have been stuck at home, you now know where they are. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? They're not touring and stuff. They're just in one place.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the crazy thing about COVID, especially in Nashville, because obviously everything's shut down. And normally in Nashville, all the artists are on the road and they're gone. But every artist has just been here. So that's been kind of cool because it's like, all right, we're all just hanging out at home. Like, we're not on the road. And we've definitely been able to meet a lot more people, I think, because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's been
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Would you do you reckon you'd move back to the UK, or do you reckon America is your final place? Do you reckon?
We would love to move
I
back to
would
the UK.
love to. Yeah, I don't think it'll be for a couple more years. But that is secretly my dream, though not so secretly because I tell Dre quite a lot.
Yes.
And now you've told everyone listening to the podcast as well.
Yeah. But I don't know when. Yeah, I don't think we're in a hurry at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one day maybe.
Yeah.
And also, just add into your little love story that we spoke about. Lucy and Drake just told us that they're having a baby.
We're having a baby.
Oh,
yeah.
So exciting.
Oh,
thanks.
yeah.
We're very excited as well.
It's mostly exciting and just a tiny bit terrifying.
Terrified as well, but I think that's normal.
You'll be great. You'll be the best parents ever, trust me.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to try our best.
Yeah, we're very excited. Yeah, the baby is coming in November. So a Thanksgiving baby / Christmas baby.
Christmas.
Too much cuteness.
Oh, no.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
guys.
congrats,
We're so
guys.
happy for you.
That's amazing.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
We look forward to meeting him or her
Yeah.
when you're over here.
Yes, next summer we'll come down to Southampton and hang out with you guys.
Can't wait.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to the previous questions, I guess this is one for both of you. What do you like the most about living in America?
Best thing about living in America, touring here is pretty great. Whereas like the only advantage that we found in the UK is that festivals are more open to indie artists. In the States, festivals, if you don't have a label or representation, you're not getting on the roster.
Yeah.
But there's thousands and thousands of small venues that are open to small indie artists. And so you can make a pretty decent living. We're really strapped for cash all the time, but you can play shows and build an audience without a label here. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy.
I mean, coffee shops, house shows are a massive thing over here. Are they a big thing in the UK? Like just in
not as much.
No,
I wouldn't say apart from like a Sofa Sounds or something.
That's
true.
Yeah. Well, house shows over here are a huge thing. I think probably because people have big living rooms and things like that.
Yeah.
Or like
bigger
back
houses.
patios
The houses,
and
yeah.
things. Yeah. It kind of suits that. But that's been great for us and we love playing at like universities and colleges, and that's a real big scene in the US for musicians. So we've really enjoyed that.
And even more specifically, Nashville, like you would think like it's the mecca for all the indie artists in the States and sometimes the world. And so you'd think it'd be really competitive and, people just trying to step on each other to get their voices heard. But like you can sit in a coffee shop here and be sitting next to like one of the biggest artists of the year, and you have a great conversation and they're like, hey, let's hang out, grab a drink or something. And it just happens like that all the time. Like I got a part-time job during the pandemic and I work at a grocery store now. And so many people come through my line when I'm at the cash register that I'm a fan of, that I'm like, hey,
I know you.
I love your
so
work.
cool.
Yeah. Like amazing songwriters that we look up to and,
that's really
they're
cool.
so friendly and it's
It's all about connecting and they really want to to connect as much as you do. And so it's a mutually beneficial thing that sort of helps everybody. And so that's fantastic. That's invaluable.
Yeah.
Sounds like an amazing place. We can't wait to come. Okay, so we're finally going to get into the music chat a bit more now.
Okay.
So we're just going to go straight into it. In total so far, you've released 3 albums. Is that correct?
We have released 2 full albums.
A Christmas project. And multiple singles.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are working on an album. And the first half of that album comes out in a couple of months. But we've been releasing singles from it this year.
The ones we were talking about was Anchors Away, which was in 2016.
Been doing our research.
We
have done your research.
The Venture, which was in 2018, and then that's why I said 3, because you also had the instrumental version, which was 2019.
That's right.
How was the creation process for these albums, and how do they differ, in your opinion, from each other, would you say?
Oh, wow.
That's a really good question.
That is a great question. Y'all are really good at this.
Yeah. So our first album, Anchors Away, actually, most of those songs were written when we were living in Turkey. So, isn't that right? I mean,
they existed before we existed as Drakeford.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of came alongside him, and obviously we recorded those songs together. But Drake was the one that wrote all of those, and
we wrote a couple of them together. When we moved back to the States, we came back in 2014 to get married, and we thought we wouldn't be here very long. We thought we'd just be here for a year or 2, and then we'd go back overseas, somewhere like the UK or back to Turkey. And so we really didn't have in mind that we'd be pursuing, the artist lifestyle. And something happened towards the end of our first year where we just had the opportunity to record a record, and we were like, well, we've got all these songs. We may as well record them and, put them out there, and then we'll leave and go back to our overseas lifestyle. And that's sort of how we became Drakeford, because I didn't want to just do it by myself. I'd been singing by myself for long enough. And Lucy Jane is such a pleasure to work with that I couldn't bear to do music without her. So that was Anchors Away was the start of our journey, which is why we called it Anchors Away. It's here we go. This is us.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, nice.
And the Venture kind of came. Sorry, you can shut me up if I'm talking too much. No, you're doing great. So the Venture came because after we released Anchors Away, we started getting more and more opportunities to perform and tour. We started talking to record labels in Nashville, even though we didn't live here at the time. And it was just apparent that we were supposed to keep walking through the doors and opportunities that were opening up. So in that time, it was about a year after we wrote and recorded Anchors Away, where the opportunities were happening. We were traveling and touring. And The Venture was a collection of songs that we wrote when we were on the road touring Anchors Away. And so when we recorded it, it was like, okay, this is the next progression in who we are as artists. We set sail on the first record, and now we're on the Venture. We're out here doing it. So the song on the Venture, it was fun. The Road was all about touring. That's one of my favorite songs from the Venture.
Yeah,
kind of about the struggles and puts a lighthearted spin on the lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah, being a touring musician.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if we consciously thought about the whole Anchors Away and the Venture. I feel like we named the albums that, and then afterwards we realized that they kind of tied in together. So Setting Sail and then Being on the Journey. Yeah. It just kind of
this
happened.
Next project you're working on, is that continuing this theme or
and
not
it actually
really?
Is, and that wasn't even that wasn't even planned either. And we knew what it was going to be called even before we wrote a lot of the songs. And then we were chatting to one of our friends about it, and they were like, oh yeah, that ties into Anchors Away, the Venture, and then this next one. And we were like, oh, we didn't even plan it. That's so crazy. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I mean, we had the title for the new record we're working on before we finished writing and recording the Venture.
Wow.
So it's almost like it was planned before us, and we're just discovering what is meant to happen,
Yeah, it's
it's all meant to be.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear new stuff.
Yeah.
Is there a date? Like, when do you reckon you'll be releasing?
So there's not a date yet, but we are... so basically, this next album is a 2-part album. So there's the first EP and then there's the second EP, but it's under the same name, just part 1 and part 2. And it's kind of got a theme to it. But the first part of the album will be coming out this summer. Pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, all the songs are in mixing right now.
They're getting mixed as we speak. And then...
You're killing me, guys.
I'll send you that Dropbox link.
Yeah, you can listen to it.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the EP will probably be coming out in the winter at some point. But those are pretty much recorded as well. The second half of the EP is all recorded, and that will be going into mixing after this one is done. So we're working on it, and we're really excited about it. And we can tell them what it's called, right?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Exclusive. We haven't announced it yet. So this next one is called Wayward and Home. So it's kind of we're really excited about it.
It's kind of like full circle, sort of.
Like going back home kind of thing.
That is so lovely. I love that.
Yeah.
Almost sounds like a Bath and Body Works scent, doesn't it?
Wayward and Home by Drakeford.
Can see that on a candle.
I don't think I realized you were such a Bath and Body Works fan.
No.
Oh, huge.
Really?
Honestly, I'm obsessed. Yeah. It's the first place we go to when we land.
Are you serious?
Not the hotel, Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works.
Oh gosh. Well, next time we come to England, I'll have to bring some things over for you.
Yes, please. Oh my God. I just can't believe there isn't one here.
Maybe
like,
you should
we just
start
need one.
You should start it.
Yeah.
Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works.
That came to me. I don't know.
Yes,
it's
that's
perfect.
Oh, that is perfect.
I love it.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, we first featured your music. As it turns out, it was "Let It Snow" in our Christmas 2018 playlist.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is awesome. And then a month later, we featured "Ready or Not" from The Venture. In January. So yeah, how was it going for you back in sort of, I guess, late 2018, early 2019? Like, how was Drakeford back then? I guess your state of mind.
Yeah, man, you guys and your questions, it's so great.
Yeah, you guys are, you're pros.
So, before we released The Venture, we were in talks with record labels here in Nashville, and we were trying to figure out what the next step was. And we decided, finally, like, if we want to keep doing the music that we want to do, that we feel like, suits us best and has, the most of what we want to say in it, we'd have to be independent. So we, we parted ways with the labels on good terms. They're still our friends and stuff. But we decided we wanted to, do this on our own, which meant that we didn't have the help of big, like, labels or management helping us figure out, like, the best ways to release stuff. So when we released The Venture in 2018, we were touring lots, playing lots of college gigs and house shows and coffee shops, and it was wonderful. But our streaming presence was very minimal. And it was almost like an overnight thing. I realized we were on tour, we were in Texas, and it was like, we're playing lots of shows for lots of people, and nobody is listening to us online. I need to start working on Spotify. And then I realized in order to do Spotify stuff, you have to get it on the front end of when you release. And we had just released a full stinking album.
Yes.
None of which did we pitch to editorials. None of which were singled before the album.
We just did not know what we were doing. Like, because we were touring a lot and we sold a lot of physical copies. Like, that was like our focus. We just sold a lot of physical albums.
Yeah.
But then the streaming thing, we're like, this is really important. We need to focus on this too.
So we were in Texas when I was researching a lot of playlists, and I was like, Alex Rainbird, they have a lot of playlists. Let me reach out to them. And and then that's how we got in touch with y'all. And that was really the start of anything on Spotify or Apple or anything. And
you guys were such a huge, huge help to us, and like the support you guys gave us from the get-go. And when you put Ready or Not on your playlist, it was like...
That was the biggest thing I think we've had to date on Spotify.
I mean, it was huge, and we got so many new followers from that. that are still with us today. And like we're just so grateful to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ready or Not was actually the song that we wrote when we were in that season of like, okay, these labels are pursuing us and we have these opportunities. Which way do we go? Like, do we stay independent and keep true to, what we want to say in our songs? Or do we go the label route and have help, but maybe be a bit more restricted in what we can sing and what we can say? And so Ready or Not was kind of that, coming to terms with the decision we made, like, okay, we're going to stay independent, like, ready or not, here we go, like, we're just doing this alone. And to have you guys pick that song up and give it the support you did was huge.
It was crucial. We're so grateful to you guys.
Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, honestly,
you guys deserve it so much.
You guys deserve it, and it's like,
thank you.
I guess even more special that is the meaning of the song, because obviously, like, we love independent music. We're independent. It's just us two doing it all. So yeah, it's just magical. I guess. Yeah, you're so welcome.
It's just amazing hearing that we've like helped you in that way.
No, yeah,
huge.
It really is.
Yeah. It's just, and you guys, like I said, we love you guys. We think you're absolutely incredible.
Oh, we love
you deserve everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we love y'all too. If that hasn't been made clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think has changed, like, between life in like 2018, 2019 and now?
Oh gosh.
Obviously, we haven't played live shows in about a year and a half.
No.
Yeah.
That is true.
Which is crazy. We had our first live show, our first like real live show about a month ago. And it was wild because on one hand, it was like nothing had ever happened and nobody was wearing masks because we were in the deep South. And it was wonderful, but also like, wait a second, nobody's wearing masks.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It's not right here.
Yeah. I think like, like we said, we, for a couple of years, we were full on just touring constantly. We were never at home, which was amazing. And we chose that lifestyle and we loved it, every second of it. But in a way, COVID made us stop and made us kind of be at home and kind of take more time for ourselves. And I think that was good for us. I think we were getting to the point that we were very tired and getting just very weary. We've been doing it alone and not being around community necessarily. And so I think we were getting to the point of burnout. And I think if we hadn't have stopped soon, we may have, left music for a while. And so I think, as hard as COVID and quarantine was, like, I would not want to do that again. I think it was in a way good for us to be in one place for more than just 2 weeks. And
because it was the longest either of us had been in one place since
since 18 like for both of us.
Years old.
Like we've always done something that involved traveling and touring, and so I think for our mental health, in a way, it was great. It was good for us.
It really helped you guys.
It did.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
How have you guys...
I was actually going to lead into... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to ask how you guys have been, during the pandemic. And I know it's been a lot stricter in the UK and it's
definitely been weird, especially because a lot of the time, like, obviously we know a lot of people, like, in different places. So, like, America was kind of like opening up, but we were still in a really heavy lockdown. So we were, like, seeing people, like, actually do things. Yeah. And it just makes you, like, oh my God, like, will this ever end?
Yeah.
And like, just not seeing family. And I actually said, like, we're finding it difficult to not see family and they live 2 hours away. So I can't imagine how it feels to be in a different country and not be able to see family. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely, we just kind of just been working, haven't we?
Well, I was going to say.
And travelling has, like, not being able to travel has been the worst part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say that, obviously I've been fortunate enough that we do is online and stuff, so it hasn't been affected like some jobs have. But on the flip side, I feel like we've now put so much work on and doing all these different things and doing podcasts and stuff that now things are opening again. We're like a bit like, oh my goodness, we've actually got to find time to go outside again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting trying to manage all that. But yeah, it's obviously, thank goodness we can now finally emerge and live a life. But,
and I was also going to say, we like our way of coping with, like, obviously we're so grateful that we can work at home and like do it from home and stuff like that and do it together. But our way of coping with, you know, actually having life was to travel and meet musicians and like go to places. So then like actually being stuck inside and thinking, okay, we've got to like, if we can't stop, do you know what I mean? Like we've got to work. So that's been tough, just not being able to get on a flight. Do you know what I mean? And just escape.
I know. Oh,
but yeah,
I'm definitely at the point now that I'm just like, just let me travel again, please. I need to do it. So I totally get that.
A lot of your songs are very uplifting and full of positive messages. For example, Stronger Than One and We'll Be Alright, just to name a few, which are some of our favourites, aren't they?
Thank you.
And we absolutely love them. What made you start doing this? And also, we wondered, because we've had the pandemic and it's been so intense, how has that affected your mindset for writing music? Because what you write about is so positive.
Oof, that's...
Man, we've always wanted to help people. Like, that's been... Everything that we want to do is just to, like, benefit society and help people out. And we've just found that in most situations, being positive and letting people know that, hey, it's tough, but it's going to get better. That's been kind of like our thing, because that's what we've experienced. You know, we go through hard times, but we always make it through. And it's really hard to remind yourself of that when you're in a tough time. So if we can be people who might not be in a tough time at the moment, speaking into your life in a tough time, the one thing we want to let you know is, hey, it's going to be okay, you know? You got this. We're with you. You got people around you. Because that's what humans do, you know? At our core, we want to help each other out. That's just human nature. And but the pandemic definitely did change things. I mean, everybody in the world experienced it, and it was hard. We were going through it the same way that people in Spain were going through it, the same way that people in the UK were going through it. And even though our countries dealt with it differently, it was still this emotional thing on all of our shoulders. And so our new record that we've been working on, there's still like the positive, hopeful, like things are like our song Press On that just came out. You know, you just have to keep going. The hope is that, you know, things will work out in time. But a lot of the tone of the new record is more melancholy, more like, hey, we're all in this stuff together right now. And so it's a little bit less cheerful, a little bit upbeat at sometimes, a little bit more melancholy, but we felt like that was going to be a lot better than us being the cheerful, happy people like, hey, you're in a tough time. Just dance it out, you know, we'll be fine. It's a lot more somber and like, man, this sucks. Like, what do you do when you can't pay rent? Or like, what do you do when your job is just, you know, cut you or furloughed you? Or what do you do when, you know, you can't see your family because they're 2,000 miles away? Like,
And one of the biggest things as well with our music, we've always said, is that we want to be authentic. And like, if we are going through a difficult time, we want to be authentic to that and sing songs in that moment, write songs about that moment. And so this album definitely is, like Drake said, it is more on the melancholy side. I think, you know, it's called Wayward and Home. And I think the first half of the EP, I guess you can kind of see it as the wayward side, is kind of, it is, you know, somber and asking a lot of questions. And it's hard. Like, there's some hard songs on there that are probably the most vulnerable we've ever written. And then the second side is still got that similar tone, but it does have a bit more of a hopeful, like it's the home side, it's the hopeful side. Would you agree with that?
I would agree wholeheartedly with that.
Did you write those at different, so did you write the more happy songs towards the end of the pandemic, or was it all kind of just, do you know what I mean?
What's funny is that most of these songs were written before COVID even happened.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
2019, we had a lot of really good stuff going on, but the tolls of being on the road all the time and away from our community and family were starting to really hit. And we had, if you've listened to our music at all, you probably know that we're Christians, and that influences a lot of how we write as well. And I personally had a lot of really big questions and doubts and things that I have been wrestling through on the faith side of my life, which also contributed to like, what the heck is going on in my life right now? So 2019, really 2018 to 2019, we were kind of in this really, it's not even dark, heavy. It was just a heavy place.
Yeah.
So we started writing these songs, and then the pandemic hit, and it was like, wow, like now the whole world is kind of in the same place that we've been in for a year and a half, 2 years now. And so we thought this is the perfect time to release this, to let people know, hey, like,
you're not alone.
this is what it is. This is what we're all experiencing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the timing of that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
we did write a couple in
did.
lockdown.
We did. We found it
I can imagine
really
it's
hard.
not easy, is it?
We found
Yeah.
it really hard to be creative during the pandemic. Like, we had friends that were just writing every day and creating things and learning new instruments, and we were like, we've got nothing. We've got absolutely nothing and no motivation. So I think we probably wrote about 3 songs the whole year.
Yeah.
Honestly, so
It's wild.
Yeah,
It's
if
wild.
you're stuck inside not doing anything, like, where's the inspiration?
It's
I guess?
difficult.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And meeting people, like, that's a big part of my inspiration and muse to write.
yeah.
And when you're not meeting new people and you're not having those new engagements and experiences,
Yeah.
what do you draw from? Why are you writing?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, I understand that.
Back to another lockdown question, I'm afraid. We noticed you started a series called Quarantine Tuesdays. I think I'm saying that
We
right.
did,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you filmed yourselves covering a song every Tuesday. We loved that. It was so fun. And
Thanks.
since every day felt the same, it was good to notice Tuesday again, basically, seeing you guys doing your covers.
Yeah, it really helped us.
Definitely, yeah, it
Aw.
really did, yeah.
That's so
That's awesome.
lovely.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably a way for you to stay creative. What made you start that? Was this the pandemic? And I guess, was it just a way for you guys to stay sane and stay in that sort of mindset?
In the creative mindset.
Yeah. Thanks, Beth.
And also, just adding on that one, I just wanted to say that the one you did the other day, which is the Jimmy Eat World.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
Did
awesome.
you like
one,
it?
my favourite one, I think. My favourite one.
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, honestly, you hit it spot on. Like, we did that to kind of keep challenging ourselves to stay somewhat creative and learn new things, because we'd be learning these covers, during the week. And I think if we didn't do that, we would have gone slightly insane.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it was a way to challenge ourselves and also, to stay connected with, with our listeners and listen as well to what they wanted us to do. And so I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed it. We really enjoyed doing it. It really pushed us, which is what we needed.
Yeah, exactly. And we got pretty inconsistent with them, like, as time went on, because it was like, oh, it's the same stuff every week.
Yeah.
But just to know, like, we can lock ourselves in our little home studio here and put a different rendition of a song most people know. Like, that did give us a little bit of motivation to be musical. Otherwise, I probably just would have sat in here and played Xbox the whole time.
That works too. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, it was for us. I mean, it's funny because Drake and I are quite different in a way. Like, I really love to have a schedule and structure and know, like, okay, let's be consistent, and this is happening every week. So on this day we need to learn this and practice, and on this day we need to record it. And Drake is much more like go with the flow. Like, his creativity isn't going to be in a structure, and so if he's not feeling learning a new cover, he's not going to do it. He needs to wait for the inspiration.
It's so stupid, but that's the way it is.
It's just, we're just really different. And so sometimes that creates some, like, it was difficult because I was like, we need to do this now. Like, we need structure
just get
and
it
schedule
done.
and, like, check it off the list kind of thing. And he was like, much more, let me wait until I feel creative,
It was, yeah. And
But it was-
even just the idea of, like, every Tuesday we have to do something, that stresses me out, man. And I don't know exactly why, but
And I love it. I'm like, great, we've got something on the books. Like, this is what we have to do. But we've kind of made a bit more like leaning towards Drake's strengths now. Like, you know, when he's feeling the creativity.
Well, it's out of necessity too, because I did pick up a part-time job, so I don't have all the time in the world anymore.
But when we get around to it, we want to keep doing those. Probably not calling them Quarantine Tuesdays anymore because we're not all in quarantine. But we've
just post them when you want to post them. No pressure.
Exactly
on it.
Exactly. So
they are fun to do though. Like a lot of the songs too, like are songs from, you know, our early childhoods or that have meant a lot to us recently, and we put a different spin on it. So as much as I hate like let's go, I don't feel creative, but we have to do it. When we get into the process and we're tracking it and I see the song taking shape, it's like
we get really excited about it. It's like, this is cool.
It's such a great idea.
Yeah,
that's a really cool idea.
I'm glad y'all liked it. Yeah.
I was going to ask, actually, obviously you both work together, you live together, which we can relate to because we also do the same thing. Totally. And we know it can be difficult sometimes to kind of balance the work life and the personal life. And there's probably a lot of people listening that do the kind of same thing, like they're in a couple, they work together. So I was just wondering, do you guys have any advice for people that do the same thing as you? How do you find time to do non-music stuff when that's been your life for such a long time? Yeah,
it's very true, and it is hard. Like it's definitely hard, but it's very rewarding as well. I think you just have to be. I think you have to be consistent with, okay, like tonight's a date night and we're going out and we're not going to talk about business and we're not going to look at our phones or whatever.
Which is especially hard for this one.
Yeah, I talk about business a lot, so I need to.
And Alex.
It's me as well.
Yeah. When her mind is on doing something, no matter how hard you try and how romantic you get, it's still going to be on music stuff.
It's true. It's hard for me to switch off. It really is. And so I'm speaking to myself. It's really important to do that though. And taking like days off, you know, multiple days off and going out somewhere, like going on a hike or like just trying to get away, because I feel like the first few years we definitely weren't very good at that.
I mean, all the traveling and outings that we had were music related, and so our identity as a couple became our identity in music,
which is a dangerous place to be.
I think that played into a lot of sort of the heaviness that came afterwards.
So we're still learning it for sure, but we're learning more to prioritize each other and step away from the business side of things.
What about you guys? I want to hear your take on this.
Give us wisdom.
Well, we actually put the zoo for Saturday today, so we're really excited about that. We're going to the zoo.
We've got to do a date there.
It's making time, isn't it, for it? It's just like saying.
I think we were kind of the same as you guys, where it got to the point where it was just kind of work for a long time. It was like we were working together every day. We didn't really do anything else that wasn't work related, because as you guys can also relate, especially it's on your phone, so it's constantly there. You never really escape it. But now we just kind of, if someone's feeling, you know, the pressures of it, we just speak to each other and we try and go on date days like you say. But it's definitely a tough one because I know for Alex, you find it a lot more, like Drake's kind of like me and Alex is a bit like Lucy, where Alex finds it so difficult to switch off from work when we're out. Even on the weekends, you find it difficult to switch off. So I guess you take this one and you give your like side of it.
It's just tough because obviously you're working for yourself. Like everything depends on you. Like if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it. So it's tough, but you just got to, at the end of the day, you can only do so much, can't you? There's only so many hours and you've got to spend time with your
with Beth.
With your Beth.
You have to spend time with your Beth.
It's true.
Finding time, isn't it? Just switching off every now and again and just making sure that you're giving each other time and love. And
how did you guys, because I know you were going through like the heavy period of it, but how did you come out of it, if you know what I mean?
Did you just get to a point where it was so like tough that you said we got to do something?
We did. There's a couple of things that come to mind. We did therapy, couples therapy, which was fabulous. Because, when you're together for a long time, you know each other very well. But things change in your mind depending on the situation. And a situation can happen. And I read the situation this way. And because we've known each other for so long, I think she takes it this way. But the situation does something completely different for her. And so you have years and years of these compounded situational different situational interpretations. And so going to a therapist and for a few months and just talking through things and working things out and reprioritizing stuff.
So helpful. And I think people don't often talk about, if they go to therapy or they're scared of what people would think. But I think it's so important, and we're all human, and, you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of each other. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing therapy. It doesn't mean you're weak. I think it means you're strong, that you're willing to do that and you want to do that. So
that, and also the community around you. We're so fortunate in the sense that literally in our neighborhood, we have 3 families that we're really, really close to that are some of our best friends. And without people walking through you, doing life with you like that, I can't imagine where we would be right now, because they were a big part in why we did therapy. They were a big part in helping us work through some of our problems after therapy. And without those sitting by the fire with your neighbor type moments, I'm honestly not sure where we'd be,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So and it's not to say we're out of it and we're on the upswing. We're definitely doing better and we're working towards stuff actively, but we're still in it. So
I think it's so important to have good community around you. No matter what, season of life you're in, to have friends that will go through the hard stuff with you, talk through it with you, and that you can do that with them as well. You can support them and encourage them.
Yeah.
When they're going through difficult things, I just think it's so vital to have that community. And we're very grateful to have that, nearby. So yeah, it's important.
We're grateful that you guys got through it.
Yeah.
Well, it's still
getting
everyone
through it.
Struggles in their own way.
Yeah.
But you've got such a new exciting chapter coming in your lives. And I just think, it's kind of not a new beginning, but it's just fresh and new.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a nice little restart for you guys.
It is, yeah.
For sure.
Very exciting.
And a baby will change everything, guys. I mean, you won't have time for each other once you've
Right.
got a baby.
Get all the dates in now while we can.
Yeah.
We're very, very excited.
Okay, so your new single, your latest single, was called Press On. We spoke a little bit about it.
Yep.
It's featured in our June compilation, if you've listened to that. Congrats on the release, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Do you want to speak? I think we spoke a little bit about it, but is there anything else you wanted to say about that one and the writing process, what it means to you?
Yeah. Press On comes from, the straight up middle of the heaviness that we talked about earlier. It was a couple years ago we wrote it. It was kind of the first one from the entire record, which kind of made us think we need to go more. We need to lean into the current surroundings and the cultural climate all around the world. And the verses are all what do you do in this? How do you react to that? What happens when this happens? And those are all real things that we experienced. Where do you go when you can't pay rent? What do you do when the doors aren't open or the opportunity's not there? What do you do when your faith is literally at the end of its life on its last leg?
Or the future scares you. What do you do?
Yeah.
Just, we were definitely in that season, and so we just leaned right into it and wrote that song. And we performed that one a lot, actually. Before COVID happened, we were performing that one in all of our shows. And one of our favorite things is performing a new song to see how the audience reacts and see if they like it.
They react, yeah.
Because if they don't like it, then obviously we're not gonna use that one. We're not going to record it. But they reacted really well to that one and seemed to really connect with it. And so we knew that that was one that we wanted to pursue and record and put on the album.
Yeah. And what we found to be the thing that had to happen was we just had to put our heads down and push through it. And so that's why it became Press On, because you know, you have a phrase in England, keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's what you just have to do, man.
Yeah.
And stuff works itself out. You know, situations might get harder before they get easier, but the perseverance has to be the same if you're going to make it through, and you will make it through. So
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. We love it, and I'm sure
it's incredible.
Has helped and will help so many people.
So many people can relate to that message, can't they? So,
totally.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Great job, guys.
Thanks for putting it on your June compilation. We appreciate it.
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
Bigly, we appreciate it bigly.
Wow, you just made it for work.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask you guys, what's your highlight of being in Drakeford so far? And your favourite song that you've released, just to finish off our questions.
If you can name just one, if it's putting you on the spot.
Without question, I know that we both feel the same about the same one.
Do we? Yeah.
For sure. It's We'll Be Alright.
We'll Be Alright.
That was so personal to us at the time, and it still is. Yeah. And I think it always will be.
And it's just a fun one. Like, we had so much fun recording that one. We love playing that one live. That's another one that really connects with the audience. And we wrote that one 50-50, so it was, you know, it was really both of us in that. And I love the production of it, and just love it. Are you allowed to say that about one of your own songs?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's probably our favourite one.
Everything just worked exactly like it was supposed to for that one. And it's good to look back on.
Yeah. What was your other question before that?
The highlight of Drakeford.
Oh,
your highlight of Drakeford.
One highlight.
Surely meeting each other.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think. Obviously
so
meeting
highlights.
each other.
Yeah.
Oh man. What? Okay,
There's a lot of highlights.
Let's categorize this. What has been your absolute favorite show?
Favorite show?
Like live music moment.
Okay. One was our album release show for The Venture. We did an album release show in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where we used to live before Nashville.
Yeah.
And it was the most amazing show. It was sold out. There were it was standing room only. It was packed
in an amazing venue.
Incredible venue, and just full of friends and family and followers, you know, listeners that have been following us for a while. And
everybody was there too. Like our mailman came, who we got to know.
No way.
Our barbers
That's
were
so
there.
cool.
Yeah. We had a full band with us, so it was a full band show. It was just a really good night, you know. Oh, it was so much fun. So that is a highlight for me. For sure.
I would say that is probably my highlight of Drakeford so far, because everything that music could be was that in that moment for me. Like I was offering something and people received it, and people were offering something and I received it, and it was just this like full circle. Just like, this is what it's about, you know. It's about people you know and people you don't know connecting over, you know, an idea that's in a song that you wrote, but it's an idea that's been around for far longer. And I don't know, it was perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I wish we were there now.
I know.
Yeah, I'm really selling it. It sounds amazing.
No.
We hadn't met you guys yet.
No,
how weird.
that is crazy.
We would love to see you guys live though.
Yeah.
So
I would love
we've got to
that.
sort something out.
We will.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, so we also, so that's all our main questions. We also asked our community if they had anything they wanted to ask you, and a couple of people had some questions for you.
Okay.
So Denise from Instagram, she asked, I guess we've kind of just talked about this, but the best thing about working together in Drakeford?
I think the best thing for me is that we're so different.
Yeah.
Like, it's so great, because if we were both like me, this would be a train wreck.
And same, if we were both like me, it just would not work.
Yeah.
It's good to have balance.
It is.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah. And also, I mean, we are best friends. Like, you know, they always say, like, marry your best friend. It's fun. And to get to also work with your best friend is great too.
Oh, it's a blast.
We do have a blast. So, yeah, it's good.
That's awesome.
We had Indy from Discord who asked, I'm curious about their beautiful song, Ready or Not. It's so inspiring and it sounds like a Christian song, especially because of the lyric, give it a while, I promise I'll reveal my plans for you. So is this song meant to be religious, even a tiny bit? If not, then how were they able to put such powerful lyrics like the one I mentioned in the song and breathe life into it?
Oh, wow.
That is so sweet.
What a profound question.
Yeah.
That's a lovely one.
That is lovely.
I mean, wow. Yeah, we are people of faith. And what that looks like has even changed since we've written the song. But I think Lucy and I both believe that things are meant to happen, and they happen. And just due to what we believe in, like that, we think that that's a creator, that's a higher entity kind of lining things up. And what we found to be true in our personal lives is that when we have not a dang clue what's going on, stuff just seems to work out. And so we've just leaned into that. And when we don't know what's next, we ask for some help and guidance. And it's frustrating because sometimes it doesn't come when you need it to come. Like right now we're in a situation where we're like, how is this going to work out? Like what's going to happen? I have no clue. But just in the right time and in the right space, we get just a little like glimpse of what's going to come and what the next step is. And that whether it's an amount of provision that is like, here you go, you can live off of this, or whether it's an opportunity, here you go, you can do this. It's always been consistent. And so we kind of put our hope in that.
Yeah. And like Drake said, our faith often comes out in our songs. I feel like we have a mixture of some songs that are very obviously about our faith and some songs that aren't so much. But that one, it was kind of I think a really beautiful mixture.
Yeah. It would be disingenuous to not mention what we believe in our songs, because that's part of our identity,
And especially because that song was us asking the question. It was a huge life change, huge life decision of label or independent. And a lot of that was us kind of just praying and just asking God, like, okay, what are we supposed to do? And so when we wrote that song, that definitely came out. It's a big life decision that we didn't want to make by ourselves.
Yeah.
So
that's the best way to put it. And that was a long reply. Sorry, but yes.
No,
that's
good.
Absolutely fine.
It's nice to know more about it as well, because I did always wonder, like, what the
how it influences
proper
your
meaning
writing
behind it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great question.
Perfect. So that is all those questions. So basically for you guys, I've talked about it a little bit, but what are your future plans? What's coming up? Is there anything exciting, like a song, for example, you can talk about, or anything else we haven't spoken about already that's on the horizon?
Yeah. Well, like we said, we've got the album that we're working on, and the first half of the album will be coming out soon, probably in the next couple of months. There actually is one song on the first half of the EP that's about
which one?
The Way.
Oh yeah.
It's very different. It's very different for us, but like it's really exciting, and hopefully you guys like it.
It's like country western. It's so weird.
Interesting.
It's funny. You kind of described it as like an angsty folk song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Angry folk song written by a cowboy.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
just
exciting.
different, but it's a lot of fun. So
you can almost hear like that old western film.
Yeah.
And the dust thing rolling across the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that one. But
Yeah, that'd be fun.
that's the biggest thing obviously this year, and the little baby coming.
Yes.
So that's another big thing happening this year.
Yeah. There is a song on the second half of the record. We haven't talked about any of the songs in the second half, but there's one called The Color We Bleed. And we've done a YouTube video. We wrote it with some friends who live back in Chattanooga. And it's about like sort of racial injustice and prejudice and stuff. And that's been a hot topic in the States over the last, year and a half.
Yeah, definitely.
The George Floyd stuff happening. We wrote the song actually a couple of years ago after an event happened that was similar in Missouri. And was it Missouri?
No, I think it was Virginia.
Oh, okay. There was a couple, which is terrible.
There's been a lot.
Yeah.
But we wrote the song, and then all of the stuff started happening in Minnesota and like the Black Lives Matter movement. And we just felt very strongly about,
adding our voice to that.
It feels weird saying adding our voice, but the friends that we wrote this with are people of color. The biggest divide comes from our cultural differences, because even though we're all Americans, there's a huge cultural difference between the Black community and the white community, especially in the South. And so the song is just about listening to the other side of the story from our perspective, like not our perspective. What's your perspective, and how can we sort of learn how to love each other better?
I'm very excited about that song. It really means
I'm really excited to hear that one.
So excited.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm excited to hear all of it. You've got us really hyped now.
Yeah.
I hope you like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
That's all we've got going on.
Yeah, just working on. If we can get the album out and have a baby in the same year, I'll take that.
What a year!
Oh yeah. You can't complain, can you?
No.
What an amazing year!
Yeah.
Was there anything you guys wanted to add into the podcast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there anything you wanted to say?
We love you guys. We love everybody that we've met through your community.
Yeah.
And it is just a privilege to be your friends on the other side of the ocean.
It's true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Same to you guys.
And we can't wait to see you guys again soon. It will be soon. Definitely.
Yes.
With a baby.
Yeah, I can't wait to hang out with you guys again, and that'll be lovely.
Thanks, guys. So this is Drakeford's latest single, performed live. We hope you enjoy. Press on.
How do you love when your heart is broken? What do you see when your eyes aren't fixed? Where do you go when the doors aren't open? Where do you go when you can't pay your rent? What do you do when your light is fading? When you're not so sure that the anchor holds? And when all of your plans are failing, what can you do but surrender all? Ooh, I'm done pretending that I'm strong. Ooh, when I've got nothing left to stand upon. Ooh, and every trace of broken faith you have is gone. You just take a deep breath and press on. Oh, you gotta press on. Oh, and what do you do when the future scares you? When you're not so sure which way to go? And when your sense of calling fails you, what can you do but surrender? What can you do but surrender all? Ooh, I'm done pretending that I'm strong. Ooh, when I've got nothing left to stand upon. Ooh, and every trace of broken faith you have is gone. You just take a deep breath and press on. You gotta press on. Oh, well, you may fall down, don't fall behind. Use all the strength that you can find to get back up and fight another day. and what you've learned. Don't sit and watch your bridges burn, but let the fire illuminate your way as you make your way. I'm done pretending that I'm strong when I've got nothing left to stand upon. And every trace of broken faith you have is gone. You just take a deep breath and press on. Oh, you gotta press on. Oh.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Drake and Lucy. We're so excited for the next chapter in your lives, and you guys are amazing. Obviously, we know you know that we love you.
We do.
We can't wait to see you again. But for everyone that wants to see more of you, where can they find you? Shout yourselves out.
Yeah, I mean, you can find us on all the streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon,
You
YouTube.
can find us on a number of Alex Rainbird playlists.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right.
you can.
Find us on there. We'd love to connect with you guys on social media too, so find us on Instagram. We've loved already chatting to so many of you that we've that have found us on Alex and Beth's playlist, and that's always, you know, one of our favorite parts. So definitely reach out and say hi. Yeah, I think that's where they can find us.
I think so.
Pretty much everywhere, I think.
So, to everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Indie Music Podcast by Alex Rainbird Music. If you're watching on Patreon, thank you for watching there and supporting us.
We'll all wave.
We'll all wave. Yeah, thanks for supporting us there, and don't forget to subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Yeah.
Another episode with an independent artist and a performance will be coming in a few weeks. But yeah, all that's left to say is thank you so much, Drakeford, for coming on today.
Guys, thank you so much for having us.
You're
Of
so welcome.
course. And bye everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.